Hey, what's up everybody? As promised, I got the Stream Deck Plus, and here's my initial thoughts and my initial review of the product. Check it out. All right, guys, so first off, right out of the box, the overall look and feel of the Elgato Stream Deck Plus is pretty awesome. I'd say 10 out of 10. You get it out of the box, it gets you excited. It feels good. It doesn't feel cheap, right? I mean, maybe the buttons feel a little cheap-ish, but not really. The dials feel really nice, real strong, real smooth. There, they got the click function on it. It's great. And so right out of the box, it looks great, feels great, gets you excited to work with it. As you can see on my desk setup, it's not real bulky. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's real sleek, slender, fits right in there, and you almost don't even notice it if you're just glancing at my desk. And so I like that about it. It doesn't take up a lot of space. So that's the first initial thoughts and feels. I'd say 10 out of 10. Good job, Elgato, on that one. The second one, setup, right? Setup, the first initial phase of setting this up just to use it and get it to where you can program it is super simple. You go to Elgato's website, you download the Stream Deck Plus software there, and honestly, it takes about 30 seconds to download and install it there. So it's super quick, easy, simple. I like that. Again, well done, Elgato. And then all you do is you just connect it via a USB-C cable there, a USB-C in the back of the Stream Deck Plus, and then it goes to your computer. It could be USB-A is what they actually give you a cable with, or it could just be USB-C to USB-C, which is what I use there, so I can have another port actually for my Elgato Camlink 4K. Initial setup, super easy there, but there is some other setup, right, that takes a little more time, and that's the stuff that you actually want and that you're going to be using this product for. And so quick overview of the product, right? It looks good on the desk there. Has 8 different buttons on the top, and you can program those for just about anything that you want there. And so I like what you can do here. So you have 8 different buttons. You can program it for different things. Then we have 4 different knobs. And right now I just have these knobs set up for some basic stuff. This is just a left to right function. So say if you're in Final Cut Pro, you can scrub through the timeline left to right. Right, and then I have some camera setups just to show you what's going on here. And so this one is brightness. So you can check that out, right? And it's actually boosting the brightness in the camera right now, as you can see, right? Obviously, it's washing it out a bit, and we don't want that. But you can do that, and you can do some fine tuning if you want. You can do contrast, saturation, and you can set it up to do a lot of different things there. So that's the basic setup. 8 buttons, 4 dials there, and the dials can be programmed. You can program one function to the right and another one to the left, and they don't even have to be the same thing. Now, I don't know why you would necessarily want to do that, but you could do it if you like. And then the buttons actually, they also push in, and so you can actually push in and click the dials as a button, and that's pretty cool. And does another function. It functions as a button or a second dial, and so each dial could be multiple dials there. And so there's that, right? And then in addition to that, you can actually have 10 pages of this. So you have 8 buttons per page, 4 dials per page, right? What you can do is like 10 pages. Well, that's now 80 different buttons. That's also 40 different dials that you can program into there. And obviously that's probably more than most people need, but you could do it if you want to. And so that's kind of the basic overview of what it comes with. But another thing that I do like about this, there's also folders, right? There's folders that you can add into here. And so we have our church folder, right? You can see our little logo there, Fervent Church. And I haven't actually done everything here. But this is a folder. You'll click that button, takes you to the folder, right? And then you actually have all your different things. But you can make a folder for anything you want, right? I'm making a folder for ministry hacks, and so I can actually access the YouTube, upload a YouTube. I can see how my YouTube video is doing there. I can make thumbnails, different things. That's what I'm going to be programming into that. So you can add folders to it as well, and that's super nice. Now, going to the programming side of things, number one, you can program some pre-made plugins that you can find on Elgato's website there, and that's pretty nice, and it's handy for sure. you have different plugins, right? And so different plugins, one plugin that's super popular, the OBS plugin. A lot of people use it to stream, either live streaming an event, live streaming a game that they're doing, or they're just putting together a presentation and they're recording it so that they can show it to someone. Well, OBS has different plugins already pre-made, and we can drag and drop them right into the Stream Deck Plus, and that's super nice. There's different things that also have some pre-made plugins, but for the most part, you're going to have to make your own command key for whatever it is you want. So for instance, Final Cut Pro, right? If we want to cut that track or that clip, right, with the blade tool, you're going to have to program a key to do Command B, right? It doesn't take a lot of time to program it, but you do need to program it, and then you can program all those different functions in there. And so it does take some time, and you make these hot keys, as they're called, or they're command keys, shortcut keys. But yeah, it takes some time. Now, here's my ministry hack, my pro tip for you. If you get one of these, the first thing you need to do before you even start programming it, sit down, get your notebook out, and start thinking about your workflows, right? Each one. So for us in ministry, we have a pre-church workflow. We have one that's during church service, right? And the stream is going on. Then we have a post-production workflow, right? And that's just for a Sunday. And so we have those different workflows, and each one of them has something different. And so we have different workflows, and you want to think through each of those steps, right? So you go to Final Cut Pro. Well, what are all the keys that you use most often that you can just program into a folder called Final Cut Pro, and then all of a sudden you have all of your shortcut keys right there on the screen, right? You can cut the clip, you can throw a transition in there, you can put an intro video, a lower third, a title, different things like that, and you can even hit a button that will export it in your desired quality at the end of that as well. And so you can do that, but it does take some thought. So that's my pro tip for you, is take some time before you even mess with it to write down all of the things that you do from a week to week, day to day basis, and what do you use the most, and start to program those keys in there. Make folders so that you can find it real nicely and easily, so it's not all scattered all over the 10 pages, right? You have a page that's designated or two to Final Cut Pro, right? You have a page or two that's designated to GarageBand. You have a page or two that's designated to your YouTube and different streaming platforms. So think those things through. It does take some time, but it is doable. And then you can program each key to do any command that you want. And think through those things. What do you use all the time? You can even program the buttons to be websites, right? So say you go to your YouTube channel, right? So for instance, if I'm like, hey, I want to go to my church YouTube studio. So if you know that there's your YouTube channel, and then there's YouTube Studio where you get all of your creator tools, right? Well, I want to go to YouTube Studio. I don't want to go through the channel part. Well, all I got to do is hit this button, and there you go. We have our church YouTube Studio up, and I can find all of our content, analytics, comments, different things. How's this video doing versus another one? And I can find that easily and just in the click of a button, instead of typing it into the web browser or closing a page, opening a new page. So you don't have to do that. So you can streamline a lot of things. So that is awesome. That's kind of the program side of it. Now, another cool thing that you can do is that you can actually program, or you can customize each icon. So see, I got a Facebook icon, a YouTube icon for our Fervent Church YouTube, Road Central. That's not really the official icon, but it's what I use. GarageBand, I got a little Napster looking dude with headphones. Final Cut Pro, this is the Blackmagic Raw Toolbox compressor, Subsplash, which is a link, right? And so those are all pre-made icons that you can find on the Elgato website, and there's thousands of them, so that's kind of cool. And you can have different designs. They don't have to be black and white like this. They could have color, right? I have a couple with color, right? There's Final Cut Pro as well. And so you could have whatever theme, whatever style that you want, but you can also make your own icons, which is actually super easy. And so if you check that out there, I made a little folder with the icon for the ministry hacks for this YouTube channel. And so you can make that super easy. We got our church folder there with our church logo. And so you can make those icons, you can customize them, or you can use pre-made ones. Super awesome, super nice. All right, so an example of a workflow that we would use is our pre-service, pre-church workflow. And is we'll actually program a whole page with those buttons, right? So this whole page could be the pre-service workflow, and it's a checklist. Start with number 1, go to number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you need more, right, we could go to the next page, or you could start programming some of these dials to be buttons as well. But then your workflow's done. You're not forgetting anything in that workflow, and then we can swipe on to the next page. And so the next page for us would actually be the post-production, where we would actually open up a new page and have all of our editing tools and shortcuts there. And so that's an instance in how we would use it for us. Obviously, the potential is endless. You could use it for anything. It doesn't have to be live streaming. It doesn't have to be video editing or audio editing. It could be something like you're a website designer and you use shortcut keys all the time. So the potential is endless. And again, my overall review of this is that it's great. I'd say it's a 10 out of 10, and the potential is 10 out of 10. But the learning curve makes it feel like it's like a 5 out of 10 at first, because it is a little hard and difficult. Not that it's hard to program, but just difficult because you got to think about all the tasks that you do. But if you take the time and you start to program it, it is a great piece of hardware to add to your studio, your office setup there, to increase your workflow and productivity there. It costs a couple $100. And so if you can afford it and you do a lot of computer work, I'd say it's worth it. If you don't do much computer work, I'd say you don't need it. And if you just don't have the money yet, I also would say you don't need it. It's just a luxury. It makes things a little bit easier in your day-to-day grind there. So anyways, guys, that's my ministry hack for today, the Stream Deck Plus. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next one. Peace out.